Non-native insects. Are they friends or are they invaders? Non-native insects that are friends will provide benefits to the habitats that they are in, help control other insects, and they won't harm the environment. Some examples of non-native insects that are friends are the honeybee and samurai wasp. Non-native insects that are invaders have no natural enemies in their habitat, multiply and spread rapidly, and compete for food and habitat. 5 common invaders in Missouri include the Japanese beetle, emerald ash borer, soybean gall midge, brown marmorated stinkbug, and spotted lanternfly. The first common invader in Missouri is the Japanese beetle. The Japanese beetle eats foliage from many types of plants. This causes stress and can potentially introduce diseases into the plant. Japanese beetles damage grasses, plants, and crops. They like to feed in sunlight and in clusters, and they will start at the top of the plant and make their way down. This damage costs the United States around $234 million per year. The next common invader in Missouri is the emerald ash borer. These borers kill 99% of the trees they infect, and pesticides are used to remove the effects of infestation. Emerald ash borers harm all 16 species of ash trees. Across 9 states, they have killed over 16 million ash trees. These deaths affect the production of many items, such as furniture, cabinetry, and paper. The emerald ash borer can be very damaging to the environment, and there aren't many ways to stop it. In recent years, however, a parasitoid wasp has been introduced that it destroys emerald ash borer eggs. Introduced from Russia, this wasp has been tested in several other states and proven effective. The image on the right depicts the parasitoid wasp destroying emerald ash borer eggs. The third invader is the soybean gall midge. The soybean gall midge is 1/4 of an inch long and lays its eggs on the lower stems of soybeans. These eggs then hatch and the maggots eat the soybeans, therefore destroying them. The soybean gall midge can have detrimental effects to soybean fields. When a soybean gall midge infestation occurs, there is a 100% soybean yield loss from the edge to 100 feet into the field. From 200 to 400 feet into the field, there is a 20% yield loss. Right now, the soybean gall midge has no means of targeted control. That is because the midge is relatively new to Missouri. The fourth type of invader in Missouri is the brown marmorated stinkbug. The brown marmorated stinkbug feeds on most kinds of vegetation, which damages production of fruits, vegetables, corn, and soybeans. During an outbreak, brown marmorated stinkbugs have been known to damage apples, pears, vegetables, soybeans, peaches, nut crops, and corn. The images on this slide can show how damaging brown marmorated stinkbugs can really be. Currently, there are a few ways to control brown marmorated stinkbugs, but Dr. Kevin Rice and the University of Missouri are working on a pheromone study on ways to effectively control brown marmorated stinkbugs. The fifth and final invader we'll be talking about today is the spotted lanternfly. Spotted lanternflies damage trees and vines, and it threatens the grape and wine industries in Missouri. Nymphs are especially dangerous because they pierce vines and trees, which attract other pests and diseases. When a nymph pierces a tree, sap begins to leak down the tree. This attracts other insects towards the tree. Also, as the sap pools at the base of the tree, sooty mold can form. The picture on the left shows where sap begins to leak after being pierced by a spotted lanternfly nymph. The picture on the right depicts the sooty mold that can form after sap begins to pool at the base of the tree. Now that we've learned about some non-native insects in Missouri, it's important to know how they got here. There are 2 ways an insect can get here. The first way is by accident, and the second way is that they can be introduced for a specific purpose. When an insect gets here by accident, they are most likely either hiding in roots of imported plants or they're stowaways on transport like airplanes and ships. It is now easier for insects to get to the U.S. from all over the world. This is because forms of transportation have gotten faster. A few years ago, most insects would have to wait about a month on a freight ship before they entered the U.S. And by that time, they would have already died. But now, because of express shipping, they only have to wait a few days. Their odds of survival have greatly increased, and they're more likely to reach the United States and spread. The other way a non-native insect reaches the United States is because they were brought here for a specific purpose. Two examples of this can be found in honeybees and samurai wasps. Honeybees were brought to the United States to help with honey, and samurai wasps were brought to kill brown marmorated stinkbug eggs. It's also important to know how to control these invaders. The first way of control is through biological controls. That means introducing predatory enemies or contagious viruses. Both of these have their risks and can offset the ecosystem even more. The second way is through a quarantine. This means physically restricting movement of host objects. A quarantine has been used to restrict the movement of ash firewood to stop the spread of the emerald ash borer. The third way to control invaders is through pesticide control. Pesticides come with their own risks too. First, they're difficult to avoid killing similar, non-harmful native species. The invaders may develop immunity to these pesticides over time, and often these pesticides can be ineffective and expensive. To learn more, you can visit the links below, or you can contact your local University of Missouri Outreach and Engagement Office. All of our sources are cited, and no copyright infringement is intended.